For those who don't know me, my name is Charles Young. I head up the mining sector for Bowmans across Africa. Unfortunately, with the impact of COVID still raging around us, the Cape Town Mining Indaba is going virtual this year. It will still be fantastic, some great sessions, some great presentations. However, it does mean that we won't have the opportunity to catch up, at least in person, with a lot of our clients, colleagues, friends, everyone that we love catching up with every year. But it's still a good opportunity to connect. So we thought it would be valuable to put together this short video clip for you all to watch, giving you a bit of a snapshot as to what we've seen on the ground in Africa in our various jurisdictions in the last 12 months. In particular, for 2020, what have been the three key issues that have influenced the mining resources sector in our practice? And perhaps more importantly, what are some of the key opportunities that we've identified and we're looking to focus on in the coming months? Please let us know if you have any questions. Please let us know if you'd like any further information in relation to any of the topics that we've covered. Otherwise, we wish you and your families a healthy, happy, prosperous year ahead, and wish you all the best. Let's keep in touch. Take care.
It goes without saying, the greatest challenge facing mineral industry in 2020, just like society, was the pandemic. True impact of the pandemic is yet to be seen. Another challenge facing minerals industries in South Africa, which unfortunately is not new, is the continuing need to balance the competing interest of the stakeholders in the minerals industry, the interest of government, communities, and the companies or shareholders. This imbalance has manifested itself in many legal challenges that are pending or before the court, and some recent decisions which have huge implications for the mining companies. A further challenge facing South African mineral industry, which too is not new, is the ongoing blackouts which affect mineral processing, smelters and refineries. Without electricity or alternative sources of energy, those can't be run optimally. Like everything in life, where there's a challenge, there's an opportunity. The pandemic has presented minerals industry with an opportunity to really accelerate their mechanization programs, and such mechanization will hopefully deliver to the long-standing objective of zero harm and result in reskilling of employees. In respect of energy security, there have been some movement in amending the electricity regulations to allow some degree of self-generation. And this degree of self-generation can be utilized by the mining houses. It must be said, though, that although regulations have been amended, the amendments aren't comprehensive. One would have to carefully analyze the regulatory regime in deciding on how to go about self-generation. Thank you.
The three areas which Malawi has faced a lot of challenges is to do with the corruption, demands by the local communities, and political interference. In terms of corruption, there's been a lot of allegations against government officials being implicated in rent-seeking with members of the private sector, including foreign investors. Now, in terms of corporate social responsibilities, local communities have demanded a lot of things and activities to be done to them, to be delivered to them by the private sector at the exploration stage. This has been a challenge to the private sector because it's at the exploration stage when they are not mining or doing any production at all. And finally, the third challenge has been political interference. With the change of government last year, the new government made suspension to decisions of the previous government, and this again affected the sector. However, the new government has committed itself to reform the sector by introducing new laws and policies, and is also committed itself to ensure that oil and gas exploration leads to actual production and even to promote prospects of gold mining in Malawi so that the country can move forward into proper mining, in areas of, petroleum and gold mining.
I would say the main challenge from 2020 has been the COVID-19 pandemic, like many other countries, which has continued to present obstacles to the mining industry in Kenya. There's also been a drastic fall in price of many of the minerals due to the pandemic, and the pandemic has resulted in a number of mining site closures, disrupted supply chains, and suspension of projects. Secondly, we've had some revisions to our tax laws, most notably in relation to the VAT exemptions. So taxable supplies for use in capital projects were previously VAT exempt and are now standard rated. Finally, we've had some community grievances over the Loranda corridor of Western Kenya, where there is a gold prospecting project with Shanta Gold. In terms of opportunities for 2021, we have the completion of the National Airborne Geophysical Service survey, which is slated to be completed this year, 2021. We have the Building Bridges Initiative Task Force appointed by the government in May 2018, and the task force has recommended that the government prepare a policy on exploitation of natural resources. And finally, there are a number of draft frameworks and instruments in the sector that are floating around, all of which are expected to enhance the mining sector regulation and improve investment.
There is a bit of bureaucracy in the application process, and this can be frustrating to an applicant. There is, however, efforts to introduce e-licensing, although it's still in the infant stages. Speculators have come in and applied for licenses, and these speculators are hoarding these licenses, locking out serious miners at times. Artisan miners have come onto licensed areas and started to carry out operations, frustrating serious license holders and bringing them into conflict. Opportunities. Most licenses at exploration stage, it's an opportunity for any investor to come in and partner with those license holders. Most of the country has been surveyed by the government, so there is data available to assist any potential investor. There is a cadastral portal where any investor can take a look and see where most of the licenses are located. Infrastructure has been set up in some areas where minerals are located, so this eases the process of carrying out mining activities in those areas.
Mining companies in Zambia continue to face an unpredictable mining tax regime, as is evidenced by the non-deductible mineral royalty tax introduced in 2019 and the introduction of excise duty on copper concentrates. Another challenge relates to foreign investment protection, which has been a concern in light of actions by government which could be labeled as expropriatory in nature, as can be seen from its response to KCM and CC. Zambia's default on its debt obligations put a strain on businesses, including those in the mining sector, not only by making access to finance difficult, but also requiring mining companies to make payment of tax obligations in US dollars. Government intends to review the mining tax policy framework so as to introduce a more stable mining tax regime and to create a mining regulatory authority to address cost structures, disputes, and to ensure better coordination of mining or mineral resources. There is a growing emphasis on diversifying the mining sector from copper and increasing investment in other minerals, including gold mining and processing. The start of 2021 has seen an increase in the demand for copper, as well as its price. This should increase production and investment in the sector.
Three issues. Number one is security. Resource competition between various interest groups and the high level of youth unemployment has negatively affected the investment climate, as some investor assets have been severely damaged as a consequence. So investor asset security is one problem. Secondly, there is an overlapping constitutional mandate between the federal and regional governments as far as the regulation, conservation, and administration of land and natural resources is concerned. So despite the historical prevalence of the federal government in licensing and administering foreign investors in the mining sector, regional states are starting to currently assert more autonomy these days. And because of their lack of experience, this may, at least for some time, negatively affect the foreign investors that have invested capital in the area. The third challenge that I would like to mention is the apparent shortage of foreign currency in Ethiopia. So this means that investors would find it problematic to settle foreign invoices on a timely manner or repatriate their dividends or proceeds from the sale of their assets on a timely basis. As far as opportunities are concerned, the government is currently undertaking a policy reform in order to improve the mining sector's contribution to GDP by 10%. So hopefully we will be seeing some positive policy developments as far as the mining industry is concerned. Secondly, the mining sector benefits from a reduced 25% profit tax rate as per our tax laws. Customs duty exemption on imported equipment is available. Loss carry forward and other investment guarantees also exist. Finally, the Ministry of Mines and Petroleum has recently launched an Ethiopian mining cadastre portal, and investors can use this online platform to renew their licenses, process their licenses, and also access relevant market information. Thank you.
The main challenges are security, power and infrastructure deficiency, as well as a predominance of small-scale and artisanal mining activities within the sector. The opportunities are vast. These include greenfield exploration of certain minerals that the Nigerian government has categorized as strategic commodities. These include gold, iron ore, and zinc, to mention a few. There's currently a significant level of exploratory activities going on in some of these areas already, but there's still room for more investment. Other areas of opportunity include the establishment of laboratories and testing facilities, equipment leasing, skills capacity development, as well as credit financing. The Nigerian government also hopes to issue a set of mineral exploitation guidelines within the first or second quarter of 2021. Those, in addition to existing fiscal incentives, as well as legislation that govern issues like community relations, should put a willing investor on a good start.